Hi guys, it is Mandy from Mandyleeplays, and I have a question for you. Do you like a good comeback story? Because I know I do. It is amazing when a JRPG you know and love comes back out of literally nowhere. And now a lot of people are interested in the game. You got new fans, you got old. It's good stuff. As a result, I would love to highlight 7 franchises that are making a comeback. First one is the Mario and Luigi series. Whew, I am so excited for this one. The Mario and Luigi games is a series where I thought they were actually dead. Like they weren't gonna make anymore. They were gonna stick to Paper Mario. I even said it in my retrospective. Like, I don't know if this series is coming back. The last time a new Mario and Luigi game that was not a remake was released for the Nintendo 3DS in 2015. That was 9 years ago, and it was left off with probably one of the worst Mario and Luigi games ever, which was Paper Jam. And plus, the series has been going downhill for quite a while. And as a result, Alpha Dream, the creators of the series, shut down in 2019. And for 5 very lonely years, there was no mention of any new games for the Mario and Luigi series until June of 2024. They revealed Mario and Luigi Brothership coming to the Nintendo Switch. And my, does it look amazing. I love the graphics. I love the little springy animations. It's kind of like an old style cartoon where everything's just stringy and bouncy. It's really cool. There's so much I love about Brothership already. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is the integrity of the Mario Luigi series. So I'm hoping that Brothership is a return to form for the Mario and Luigi series. Now the game hasn't come out yet, nor have I played it. So if I change my mind on that, I'll let you guys know. Now, instead of being developed by Alpha Dream, it is actually being developed by Acquire, the same company that made Octopath Traveler. So if you ask me, I think the game is in good hands. Also, it makes me happy that the game is coming out relatively soon. Next week actually. So I'm really excited. Now, this is probably not because of this, but I find it funny that I made a retrospective of the series, and then after that retrospective, a new game got released. It's probably just coincidence, but I just find it very funny. But in saying that, it did age my video a little bit like milk. The Mario and Luigi series has made a comeback that no one expected, but it was a welcome return. Now for the next series, and that is the Mana series. Personally, apart from Visions of Mana, I don't like the Mana series, but I know a lot of people who love the series, and it's recently making a little comeback. The Mana series has been one of the biggest games in Square Enix repertoire of games in the 90s, with heavy hitters such as Secret of Mana being a big success, but as time went on, the quality of the games decreased, with 2007's Heroes of Mana being rated very poor, or generously middle of the road by some fans, and due to low sales, really killed the game series for a long period of time, reducing it to a fate worse than death for a game, and that is being turned into a mobile game. Yeah, there was a lot of Mana mobile games, and it was a dark period for Mana fans. I am sorry. Though, starting in 2017, Square decided to revive the series to see where everybody was at when it came to Mana games. Now, this was little by little, first starting with the collection of Mana games, which housed the first 3 Mana games. Then it went up a notch with the remake of Secret of Mana, which was released in 2018. But not only that, there was a remake of Trials of Mana, which I personally don't like. Like, you could tell the game was a little dated. Now, that was my first glimpse into the series, and while not a positive glimpse, a lot of fans loved it, and a lot of new people loved it as well. And Trials of Mana was reviewed very positively and sold over 1 million copies. Now, the Mana series is not the Final Fantasy series, so those kinds of numbers really do make an impact for the series overall. And it marked the series officially out of the dead, with its magnum opus being Visions of Mana, which is a new game in the series. So it's not a remake, it's not a remaster, it's a whole new adventure. And while it does still play with a lot of the traditional Mana stuff, I feel like Visions of Mana is a breath of fresh air for the series. Honestly, I think Square did a great job of reviving the Mana games, mostly because there is a continuation of the series with Visions of Mana, and also having remakes of the older titles, which makes it a very big beginner-friendly JRPG series all in all, but there is a sad story to all this, and that one being the development team for Visions of Mana actually closed down. So I'm not sure what's gonna be in the future. Is it gonna be a dead series again? Who knows at this point, leaving the series in a bit of a limbo. But I am confident that the game will make a comeback, but unfortunately all we can do is wait and see. Speaking of waiting and seeing, that transitions perfectly to our next game, and that is Star Ocean. Now, Star Ocean wasn't necessarily dead, but it was a franchise that a lot of people didn't really know about, and I just find it funny that a lot of the games in this list are Square games. Star Ocean is one of the few JRPGs that have a heavy focus on sci-fi instead of the traditional fantasy, and the series really flexed on its heavy sci-fi influences, mainly because it makes it different. However, the series started to have a fall off in 2016 with the release of Star Ocean Integrity and Faithfulness, which I'm not an expert on naming stuff, but those are bad names. The game suffered mixed to average reviews, citing the characters were too cliche and underdeveloped, which in any RPG, that is a big yikes, leading to the game's bombing in sales, including in Japan, which is a bit of a blow to the gut. Now, the Star Ocean series remained dormant until 2019, when Square released a remaster for First Departure. First Departure is basically a remake of the original Star Ocean game. Then Square released a new mainline game with the Divine Force, which showed noticeable differences, but I don't think it really put Star Ocean back on the map. Now, I played the Divine Force and it was pretty okay, but it wasn't a bad game. It was just very mid. But I feel the game truly made its comeback with the remake of Star Ocean Second Story. Now, this one did not just make older fans excited, it made newer fans excited too, like me. Though I did start with the Divine Force, but I felt like I finally understood Star Ocean and what it's trying to do with the Second Story R. And it also got a lot of its marketing from Nintendo, which helped it a lot. And it really put the series in a much better place. Now, if only Square could give the devs a proper budget this time around, I feel like the Star Ocean series has a lot of potential. And I could guarantee there's probably going to be more Star Ocean games down the line. Now, the next one in the list is Baten Kaitos. Now, to be transparent, I haven't played Baten Kaitos yet. I do have it, but I just haven't gotten around to playing it. But it's a series that made a huge comeback. Now, I don't know sales-wise on how this game did, but a lot of fans loved it. I mean, I never heard of Baten Kaitos until the reveal of the remakes. Now, this game was originally developed by Monolith Soft, and the first game was published by Namco, and Nintendo published the second game, Origins. Now, this game is known to have a very unique style, which requires combat to be heavily reliant on deck building. To its credit, it's a very standout mechanic compared to the many other JRPGs of its time. Though, despite critical acclaim from many reviewers, it never really achieved the mainstream success, leaving its fans to wonder if the game will ever return. But fortunately, the game did make a comeback with Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD, a lifeline for this once dead franchise, because this classic gets to be shown to a newer audience, and the remaster brings quality of life improvements while also updating the graphics. Now, there's a debate on whether Monolith Soft will like to continue the Baten Kaitos games. I personally hope that they continue the series. It would really suck if the series is dead again. Now, there is a little bit of hope because Monolith Soft did recognize the series for their 25th anniversary. So there is a little bit of hope. Speaking of hope, the next game in the series is Romancing Saga. Now, personally, I am very interested in the series. I've seen a lot of good things about it, and I really hope to get into the game sometime in the near future. I hate to show my ignorance, but I never heard of the series until Romancing Saga 2. So to remedy all my ignorance, I did a little bit of research. Now, the Romancing series is actually a really old series, and it's revered for its unconventional JRPG mechanics. It has this very open-ended gameplay and non-linear progression. Now, series like that tend to be more niche, but when they make a comeback, a lot of people notice it because it's something different and we're freaking tired of the same old. Now, the series originally started as a Final Fantasy game because everything had to be Final Fantasy back then, but I'm glad that they chose a different route. So then it progressed to Romancing Saga and then Saga Frontier, ending with Ultimate Saga in 2002. And after that, nothing really happened with the series, unless you count the fate worse than death for a game, and that is mobile games. games, everything was pretty quiet when it came to Romancing Saga, and that's probably why it went under my radar. Though in recent years, Square has been reviving a lot of their old IPs, including Romancing Saga, through remakes and re-releases, bringing over Romancing Saga 2 and 3 stateside to modern consoles with updated graphics, along with a remastered version of Saga Frontier. And because of this, the remastered strategy has allowed Square to keep this series alive by making these games available again globally. And that was where I was first introduced to the whole Romancing Saga series. And with its appeal to a more broader audience came 2 games. One of them is Sega Emerald Beyond, which is a brand new game in the series, and the other being Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, which is a full remake of Romancing Saga 2. So all in all, the Romancing Saga series has a very promising future. It's really something different and unique, reaffirming that there is a place for unconventional gameplay mechanics in mainstream gaming. The next pick is Lunar. This series is getting a whole new light. And in my previous list video, a lot of people were saying, have I played Lunar? And I was like, what is that? Because I didn't know it was a series, but now I know it's a series. So yeah, I know my JRPG ignorance is showing, but I honestly haven't heard of the series up until recently. And that's because Lunar is getting the remastered treatment. Now, I did do some research on Lunar, and this series only made it to 3 games, with the timeline of releases being filled with director's cut, remasters, and remakes. The latest game that wasn't an enhanced version was Lunar Dragon Song, which was released in 2005 for the Nintendo DS, which, if my math is done correctly, that would mark a whopping 20 years since a new game in the series was released. And mind you, this series only has 3 games. Although 20 years later, Lunar has been revived again in a remastered collection, which technically is not a full revival of the series. That usually happens when there's a new game in the series, but that still is a good start. So I'm really excited to try out this classic game, and hopefully we get a new game in the series if it does well. Now, the last one on this list is Suikoden. Now, Suikoden is made by Konami, and they've been releasing a lot of remasters lately. What the heck is going on over there? They probably just need some money. Anyways, now this is a game I haven't played as well. Remember, I'm more of a modern JRPG fan, and there's a lot of the classics that I don't know or haven't really played. My motto is better late than never. And does that make me a JRPG fraud? Some people might think that, but for me, this is not a resume where you have to put 10 years experience or anything like that. I still know a lot about JRPGs. It's just a lot of the classics I really don't know much about. Anyways, Suikoden's main gimmick is that you can recruit over 100 characters, each having their own backstory and roles. Although the series has been long gone, its legacy has been carried into Eludian Chronicles, which has a lot of the original developers of Suikoden developing the game. And a lot of the mechanics in Eludian basically takes the same idea from Suikoden. So this was another classic game that a lot of people thought was dead and gone. However, there has been this reunited hope for the Suikoden series. Konami announced that they're doing a remake for Suikoden 1 and 2, providing each game with enhanced visuals and updated quality of life features, giving the fans a chance to revisit these classic titles on modern platforms. And it's really generated a lot of excitement for its fans and new people alike, like me. And hopefully it inspires a lot of renowned interest in the series so we could get a new entry in the series, not just remakes. So that is it for today's video. If you like it, then hit that like button. And if you like my content, we'd love to see it more. Please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Please share with me some of the series that you're really excited about that are making a comeback, or series that you would really love to see a comeback for. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. And as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.